Welcome to English News in a Minute, where you give us 60 seconds and we give you the world.
Like it or not, we don't get to choose our families. Some families are fantastic. Others, not so much. In this story, you'll hear about a woman who decided it was time to choose her family.
But before we get started, here are some expressions you need to know.
Alone. Alone is an adjective, which means without anyone or anything else. Rent. Rent is a verb, which means to pay money in return for being able to use. In-law. In-law is a noun, which means a person who is related to you because of your marriage. Actor. Actor is a noun, which means a person who performs in a movie, play, TV show, or something else. Cost. Cost is a noun, which means the price of something. Lonely. Lonely is an adjective, which means sad from being apart from other people. Argue. Argue is a verb, which means to disagree or fight by using angry words. And now, back to our story. Rent-A-Family. Mrs. Sato is sad. It is her birthday, and she is alone. Her husband died in 1985. Her daughter lives in another city. Her son is working. Mrs. Sato goes to the telephone and calls a company in Tokyo, Japan. "Hello," a woman answers. "Hello," Mrs. Sato says. "I'd like to rent a family." "What would you like?" the woman asks Mrs. Sato. "A son? A daughter? Some grandchildren?" "I'd like to rent a daughter, a son-in-law, and 2 grandchildren," Mrs. Sato says. At 7 o'clock that evening, 4 actors come to Mrs. Sato's house. A woman, a man, and 2 children. "Happy birthday," the actors say. The actors stay with Mrs. Sato for 3 hours. They talk with her, eat dinner with her, and watch TV with her. Then they go home. Mrs. Sato is happy. Mrs. Sato was alone on her birthday, so she called Rent-A-Family. Rent-A-Family is a new company in Tokyo. The company sends families to people's houses. The families are really actors. The actors visit for 3 hours. The cost is $1,000. Most people rent families because they are lonely. Their children and grandchildren don't visit them. But some people rent families because they like the actors. One woman says, "I always argue with my son and daughter-in-law, but I never argue with my rented family. My family is okay, but my rented family is better." The end.
Now here's a question for you to discuss with your friends and family.
And how about you? Who's your favorite family member?
Thanks for listening, and be sure to join us for our next English News in a Minute.